He sits, a seemingly innocuous figure in a sailor suit. His eyes, though, hold a chilling glint. This is no ordinary doll. This is Robert. Robert the doll. His story is not one of childhood innocence, but of fear, dread, and unexplained phenomena. For over a century, whispers of a malevolent entity residing within Robert have haunted the annals of paranormal history. His chilling gaze seems to follow you, daring you to question the darkness that surrounds him. This is the terrifying true story of Robert the doll. Prepare yourself. This is not a tale for the faint of heart. Our story begins in 1904, in the sunny yet deceptively eerie town of Key West, Florida. This town, known for its picturesque views and vibrant culture, also harbored secrets that would send chills down anyone's spine. There, in a grand three-story mansion, lived a young boy named Eugene Robert Otto. The mansion, with its towering presence and intricate architecture, was both a marvel and a mystery to the townsfolk.
Gene, known affectionately as Gene, was a lonely child. Despite the grandeur of his home, he often found himself wandering its vast halls alone, his footsteps echoing in the emptiness. He yearned for a companion, someone to share his secrets with. The attic, filled with forgotten relics and dusty memories, became his sanctuary. Little did he know his wish would be granted in the most unsettling of ways. The shadows seemed to whisper promises of companionship, but at what cost?
One day, a mysterious package arrived at the Otto residence. The air was thick with anticipation as the package was brought inside. It was a gift for young Eugene from a Bahamian servant who had worked for the family. The servant, with a knowing smile, handed the package to Eugene, who accepted it with wide-eyed curiosity. Inside, wrapped in plain brown paper, was a doll. The paper crinkled and tore as Eugene eagerly unwrapped his new companion. Not just any doll, but a life-size doll, almost 3 feet tall, stuffed with straw, and dressed in a sailor suit. Its presence was both comforting and unsettling. The doll's face, painted with haunting realism, bore a mischievous grin. Its eyes seemed to follow Eugene, watching his every move.
Gene was instantly smitten. He felt an inexplicable bond with the doll, as if it were a long-lost friend. He named the doll Robert after himself. From that day forward, Robert was not just a doll, but a constant companion, a silent witness to Eugene's life in the grand mansion.
At first, Robert was everything Gene had ever wanted in a companion. They were inseparable. Gene would confide in Robert, sharing his innermost thoughts and dreams. But soon, a sinister undercurrent began to taint their idyllic friendship. Strange things started happening around the Otto household, events that defied rational explanation.
Gene's parents would often hear their son talking in his room at night, his voice engaged in hushed, animated conversation. They thought he was talking to himself, but then they would hear another voice, high-pitched and chillingly distinct, responding to Gene.
When they would investigate, they would find Gene alone in his room, Robert propped up on the bed beside him. Gene would insist that it was Robert who had been talking, that Robert was alive. His parents dismissed it as childish imagination, but deep down, a seed of unease had been planted. One night, the strange happenings in the Otto household reached a terrifying crescendo. The air was thick with an unsettling silence, broken only by the occasional creak of the old house. The family was awakened in the dead of night by Gene's terrified screams. The sound was so piercing it sent shivers down their spines. They rushed to his room, hearts pounding with fear and confusion, only to find it in complete disarray. Furniture was overturned, as if a violent storm had passed through. Toys were strewn across the floor, scattered in a way that seemed almost deliberate, adding to the eerie atmosphere. And there was Gene, huddled in the corner, trembling uncontrollably, his eyes wide with terror, reflecting a fear that no child should ever have to experience.
Gene claimed that Robert had gone on a rampage, that the doll had come to life and trashed the room. His voice quivered as he recounted the horrifying events. He insisted that he had seen Robert's expression change, that the doll's face had twisted into something sinister. He swore that he had seen Robert's expression change, his once playful grin morphing into a menacing snarl, a sight that would haunt him forever. The transformation was so vivid in Gene's mind, it was as if the doll had a life of its own, a malevolent spirit trapped within.
This time Gene's parents couldn't dismiss the events as mere childish fantasy. The fear in their son's eyes was too real, too palpable.
The fear in their son's eyes was too real, the kind of fear that leaves a lasting mark on one's soul. The chaos in his room too tangible to ignore. Every overturned piece of furniture, every scattered toy, a testament to the terror that had unfolded.
They made a decision that would forever alter the course of Robert's existence. They couldn't risk another night of such horror. They took Robert away from Gene and locked him in the attic, hoping to contain whatever dark force resided within the doll. Little did they know this was just the beginning of Robert's sinister legacy. Years passed, and the legend of Robert the Doll only grew stronger. Gene grew up, got married, and eventually inherited his childhood home, a place filled with memories both fond and terrifying. Robert, however, remained locked away in the attic, his presence a haunting reminder of the terror he had inflicted on Gene and his family. When Gene passed away in 1974, the eerie legacy of Robert was far from over. His wife, who had always been disturbed by Robert's unsettling presence, decided to donate the house and all its contents, including Robert, to a local historical society, hoping to rid herself of the doll's dark influence.
Robert was initially relegated to a storage room in the Society's museum, the Fort East Martello, where he was expected to remain forgotten. But he didn't stay hidden for long. His malevolent energy seemed to seep through the walls. Museum staff reported strange occurrences in the storage room, objects moving on their own, disembodied giggles echoing through the halls, and an overwhelming sense of dread. Some even claimed to have seen Robert's expression change right before their eyes, his malevolent grin returning with a vengeance, as if he was aware of their fear.
Eventually, the museum decided to give Robert a permanent exhibit, hoping to contain his unsettling presence while sharing his story with the public. The exhibit showcased his eerie history and the chilling tales that surrounded him, drawing curious visitors from all over. Little did they know, they were unleashing Robert's malevolence on a whole new audience, as strange occurrences began to plague those who dared to visit him. Visitors reported feeling watched, hearing whispers, and even experiencing sudden chills as they stood before Robert's glass case. The museum staff, though initially skeptical, couldn't ignore the growing number of reports and the palpable sense of unease that Robert brought with him. As night fell, the Fort East Martello Museum took on an even more sinister atmosphere, with Robert at the center of it all, his legend continuing to grow with each passing day. Word spread like wildfire about Robert the Doll, the seemingly harmless plaything with a dark and sinister secret. People flocked to the Fort East Martello Museum, eager to catch a glimpse of the infamous doll. But Robert, it seemed, didn't appreciate being gawked at. He demanded respect, and he wasn't afraid to punish those who dared to mock him. A chilling legend began to circulate, a tale whispered among the locals and tourists alike. It was said that Robert possessed a powerful curse. Those who dared to take his picture without his permission, who scoffed at his story, or who treated him with disrespect, would suffer dire consequences. Accidents, misfortunes, even deaths were attributed to Robert's wrath. Skeptics dismissed the stories as mere superstition, the product of overactive imaginations. But the sheer volume of eerie coincidences and unexplained phenomena surrounding Robert was hard to ignore. Visitors to the museum reported a wide range of unsettling experiences, from feeling a cold chill run down their spines to hearing Robert's disembodied laughter echoing in their ears long after they had left the museum.
One visitor claimed that after taking a picture of Robert without asking permission, he was involved in a freak car accident on his way home. Another visitor, a self-proclaimed skeptic, scoffed at the idea of Robert's curse, only to find himself plagued by a string of bad luck that lasted for weeks. The stories went on and on, each one more chilling than the last.
A legacy of terror. Robert's enduring grip on the imagination. Robert the Doll's story has captivated the public imagination for over a century. He has been the subject of countless books, documentaries, and even a Hollywood film. His legend continues to grow, fueled by the seemingly endless stream of eerie occurrences and unsettling testimonials from those who have dared to cross his path. But what is it about Robert that continues to fascinate and terrify us? Is it the eerie realism of his appearance? Is it the chilling tales of his supposed curse? Or is it something more primal, a deep-seated fear of the unknown, of the possibility that inanimate objects could harbor a life force of their own? Dare you challenge the curse? A word of caution. To this day, Robert the Doll remains a popular attraction at the Fort East Martello Museum. Visitors still flock to his display case, eager to catch a glimpse of the infamous doll. But a word of caution to those who dare to visit Robert: treat him with respect. Whether you believe in the curse or not, it's always best to err on the side of caution. Ask permission before taking his picture, don't mock him. And whatever you do, don't underestimate the power of Robert the Doll. Conclusion: the unsettling truth of Robert the Doll. The tale of Robert the Doll is a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved. Is he truly cursed? Is he inhabited by the spirit of a mischievous entity? Or is he simply a doll, imbued with the fears and anxieties of those who believe in his power? The truth, as always, remains elusive. But one thing is certain: Robert the Doll's legacy of terror will continue to haunt our imaginations for generations to come. Beyond the Veil, exploring the unexplained. The story of Robert the Doll is just one of many tales of haunted objects that have captivated our collective imagination for centuries. From cursed artifacts to possessed dolls, these objects serve as a chilling reminder that there are forces at work in the universe that we may never fully understand. As we delve deeper into the realm of the paranormal, we must approach these mysteries with a healthy dose of skepticism and an open mind. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in between.